Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of CoinNewsExtra interview session. It's a program where we invite industry innovators and experts who come to talk about what they are doing in the ecosystem and also matters arising in the blockchain and cryptocurrency ecosystem. So today we'll be looking at the topic staying innovative in the blockchain space, and we have an expert innovator in the ecosystem. He is Edwin Mata. Edwin Mata is CEO and co-founder Bricken. Edwin, you are welcome to CoinNewsExtra.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. So, Edwin, you are joining us from Barcelona, Spain. So
Correct. I'm actually here in sunny Barcelona.
Oh, that's interesting. So you've been in the ecosystem for quite a while now, and you know what is happening and the rest of them. So looking at staying innovative in the blockchain space, because blockchain has really brought innovation, and we are looking at how people could stay innovative, bringing up ideas and creativity in the industry. So before we go to that topic, can you just give us a brief about yourself?
Yes, actually, I'm a lawyer. That's my background. Before I became an entrepreneur, I was helping different digital companies and either in their lawyer legal aspects and also in the innovation wise. And from there, I started jumping into my own entrepreneurship. And now I'm doing what has always been my passion. Well, it hasn't always, but for the past 3, 4 years, I've been really involved into the blockchain environment until I decided to create what's breaking now, which is tokenization as a service. Our whole goal is to tokenize from real assets to art to scarce resources, and then just provide access for other people to be able to invest into these kind of assets and then obtain a rentability or capital gains based on that asset. So blockchain is the technology that we run that we run over, and it's providing us with that possibility, to just open access to
Hello, I lost you for a while.
yeah, it cut a little bit, but we're back.
Okay. So now let's continue. So moving straight to the questions. So what are some of the innovations happening in the blockchain ecosystem, or what has blockchain has really brought?
I mean, nowadays blockchain is just growing at a huge rate. I mean, it started like was it like maybe a decade ago, and everybody was just going for the Bitcoin, for the cryptocurrency. But now we have evolved into various projects. I mean, we got the DeFi space, just trying to compete with traditional bank. We got the possibility of being used in logistics for the transparency, the hashing of certain events that can be always reviewed in the future. You got the oracles, that's a possible price aggregators offline that can be read online. So I mean, just the space itself is growing, and I don't see it coming to an end. Now you have other projects incorporating machine learning. You can create a neural network inside the blockchain just to understand movements, not only in the cryptocurrency space, but with other kinds of transactions. So I mean, the growth that it has been happening, it's huge. You can even now create a company inside the blockchain. I mean, we call them DAO, decentralized autonomous organizations. You have a DAOs coming up maybe on a daily base, focus on communities. So communities want to be creating their own companies, but now instead of going for the traditional way where there's only like three co-founders, they go and say, hey, I'm going to issue my own token, and then around 50,000 members of my community are going to design what is the governance methods behind it. So new methods, new companies, new models, new everything is coming out at a rate that it's becoming a problem also from the regulation point of view, because the regulation is not at the par or running at the same speed that these new innovations are coming out of blockchain.
Interesting, talking about regulation. So we've seen that there are regulatory uncertainty in the blockchain space. So what are your opinion about regulation Some people are talking about regulation that it may hinder innovation in the ecosystem. What's your take on that? Do you think innovation will hinder innovation?
Yes, of course. I mean, my perspective as a lawyer is actually that you need to have a regulated space. You need to have legislations because you need to protect people who are the citizens. I mean, you can have to protect the whole ecosystem as a country. You cannot go free for all and say, now we're going to do this without the protection of the government or the legislator themselves, because then you will have a problem. There will be companies trying to make profit out of the uncertainty and the insecurity of the citizen. I mean, that occurs nowadays, but that's the whole goal of the legislator, to protect that and to evade that uncertainty. Now, with the blockchain environment, it's happening the same. Uh, Technology and innovation is running at a faster speed than the legislator. I mean, here in Spain, we don't have a legislation specifying some things that need to happen with the cryptocurrency. Even the world cryptocurrency, I'm not aware that it appears in any legislation. We call them digital assets, or we're trying to still trying to understand what is a cryptocurrency, what is a crypto asset, what is a stable coin, but nobody has done the jump, at least not in Spain. In other countries, they have. In Europe, I mean, Spain in Europe, you got Liechtenstein, you got Malta, you got all these countries, but they're very little that they come from from a banking tradition, that they understand that the crypto can be the next, I wouldn't say coin, I would say maybe the next asset value that can make that can people transact with. So they are actually establishing regulations because they understand that the future is there. From a more traditional banking side or a more traditional country such as Spain, there's fear as to what this can bring to the environment. Not only because the banking institutions themselves are not aware or not up to speed as to how they can handle these crypto assets, but also because now I mean, one of the things with blockchain is also that there's can be anonymous transfers, and there's can be anonymity with the addresses and everything. So I mean, it's easy for them to think that, yeah, it's so easy to money laundry. But is it? I mean, we're talking about back in the day, but now you can actually establish a clear view as to who owns an address or what are the next transactions on that address. And I mean, so without going further, legislation is not up to speed to what blockchain is. We are way behind in the regulation space. We're missing a big gap that needs to be filled, and countries that are going to be filling that gap are the ones who are going to be obtaining all the blockchain companies. So that's going to be a problem in the future, because countries that did not went and regulated and established a secure space for innovation in the blockchain ecosystem are going to lose that chance for those companies to be incorporated into that country, and also for money to be bringing or being brought into that country.
Thank you. Talking about staying innovative in the blockchain space, you are the CEO and co-founder of Greeking. What innovation are you guys bringing to the ecosystem?
Well, I mean, it's a security token offering. So what we do is we have real world assets, and then we digitize them, and then we tokenize them in as many pieces as possible. So people can buy token, which is a representation of the value of the real world asset. I mean, an example would be you have a house that is worth 1,000 US dollars, for example. You break it in 1,000 blocks, and then you just sell €1 worth block to anyone. So the people that acquire that block, they can obtain profit based on the performance of the real world asset. So let's say you rent that €1,000 house into $10. That profit gets distributed among the token holders. Or let's say that the €1,000, the $1,000 house gets double and you sell it for 2,000. Well, you have a margin of 1,000 that is profit, and that gets distributed in the token holders. I mean, so what we're doing is, or our goal is to open new markets to anyone. Because, for example, myself, I'm into real estate, but maybe I don't have the same capacity as a bank or as a fund, as a private fund, to be able to play in the real estate world. with these kind of solutions, with a little money as possible, you can actually start gaining profit on these kind of markets that are very protected by those institutional players. So we are a tokenization platform, and we believe in access and democratization, and that's our main goal. I want anybody to be able to invest money into hard assets and then gain a profit of it. So maybe we're gonna go against the normal institutional investors who are the market makers of these fields, but it's a future. I mean, that's one of the solutions that blockchain is bringing. Like the transparency or the possibility of this of digitizing a real world asset, tokenizing, and now I can also become a co-owner of a house in the best street in Barcelona, for example.
Interesting. You guys are doing amazingly well when it comes to innovation in this space. So, staying innovative in the blockchain space, how do you see the future of blockchain when it comes to that?
I mean, to stay innovative, you have to stay just reading and being up to speed. We started as a tokenization as a service. We're launching next month. Actually, we're gonna be issuing our first tokens for a real world asset. So to stay innovative, we cannot just think that we're gonna be just a tokenization as a service platform. We have to go for the next big thing. So we're already looking into how we're gonna enter the DeFi space, maybe using Uniswap to create further liquidity for our tokens. We're also looking into the oracles. We're also talking with Chainlink, one of the best providers of oracles in the blockchain ecosystem, as to how we can use offline price aggregators of the real estate to to be more transparent as to why our value of the token regarding the real estate inside the platform is what it is. So what to stay innovative in blockchain, it's a very difficult thing because there's new knowledge to be learned, but also that knowledge, since it's a technology sector, means that you really need great developers to be up to speed and be able to code all of these things. So it's it's a it's a two highway road. You need to study and you need to perform. It's not, for example, for me, a lawyer, in order to perform, I just need to read the new regulations and study, and I'm good. But here, since you have to code it, you have to establish how the platform is going to perform. It just makes it a little bit more difficult just to be up to date on the blockchain. So that's why you need a great team to be able to establish a blockchain company that it's up to date everywhere. Because the easy thing will be to stay there, but maybe tomorrow security token offerings are a thing of the past. So you always need to be looking for that new unicorn inside the blockchain.
Thank you very much for this insightful and wonderful interview with you, Edwin Mata. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure.